Hey everybody, welcome to the local pundit. I am Aaron, the Hoosier Wrexham fan on Twitter, and we got a lot of fun to do today. More fun, more players. We're doing wingbacks and centerbacks today in the Transfer Madness show. Uh, and joining me, as always, the the great, the powerful, he's see, how did I used to say it? Too sweet to be sour. He's Patty Power. That's it. That's what it was. I couldn't remember how I said it.
Yeah,
I used to roll off
that's
the tongue.
because you've been
God,
working too hard and you haven't been doing
I
enough
have
shows.
been,
You forgot how it works.
dude. You know what's crazy? I actually only worked 8 hours today, and I was like, I didn't know what to do with myself. I'm like, oh, I had a short day. I'm home early. It's crazy. But yeah, no, I was trying to think. And I totally blanked on it, but I remembered that part anyway. So what's up? How you doing? Doing good?
Yeah, I'm doing okay.
Good, good. We already got a jumping chat. Lots of people in the chat already. So we got Turbo Fat. How we doing? Andrew C. Chicky Brewer. Marie from SoCal. Hip Karma. Hello. Uh, Jonathan. I don't know how to say that. Uh, it's Dave's in there. Esteban, of course you're in there. What's up, buddy? And Ted Nelson, as always, in the chat. Uh, we got some exciting stuff. Got some good stuff to talk about. I Some of these are some of you guys may have heard of some of these names. Um, some of them are names you've definitely not heard of. Kind of like the last time, like it was last Friday. So I did kind of tailor. I kind of tweaked it a little bit to make the show run a little smoother this time though. So we got four right wing backs, four left wing backs, and four center backs. We're gonna go through tonight. That way, once we get through each position, we can throw up a poll for everybody. And you guys can have your say on who you think we need of those four, or who you want us to get out of those four. So. Well, let's get into it. We're going to start off with right wing backs, Patty.
Yep.
And as far as the right wing back position goes, I'm kind of the opinion we probably want two. I
Yep.
don't think we need to, but I think I just
Uh,
I don't think. Here's the thing: we don't need them as is in the sense we've got players. It's just I don't see Ryan Barnett ever playing for us again. I mean, Parky just never picked him at all.
yeah, if
You know,
we make the logical assumption that Barney is basically out,
hmm
then that leaves you only with Longman.
yeah,
So
exactly.
you kind of need two because even Longman was coverage last year. He
Yeah,
wasn't even a
exactly. No,
starter. So yeah,
right.
I think we need two.
Yep. I agree, and that's where I'm at with it. So with that, what what are the traits that you're looking for in a wingback? Like, what are you just looking for pace, like Kabore, or are you looking for somebody that can control the ball a little better? And what are better defensively? What are you looking for?
I argue with myself back and forward on Kabore
Yeah.
because I like his speed. I like some of the aspects of his game. He just did not click with the rest of the team.
Yeah.
Then I defend him by saying he's the only fast player we have, so he often gets there too early. And because he's so quick, they desperately try and mark him with two players. Partly because there's not enough players around for them to defend against as well. So, well, if there's only one player up there, you might as well charge him
Right.
down.
Right.
So, I'm going to put it out there immediately. If we got word that we bought Kabore,
hmm
I wouldn't be overly upset. I'm not on the camp of he's not good enough, don't want him.
hmm
But I would still say I want someone else at least as good as we got from Kabore last year for the two of them to fight it out for that
Yeah.
first spot. Preferably someone that's an absolute lock in the position. But,
hmm
beggars can't be choosers. Sometimes we've other
Right.
players to buy too. We have to see what's in the market. So, two along the lines of Kabore who will fight it out and aim to pull that first spot, I'd be okay with.
Yeah, I'm actually in agreement with on Kabore. I think he I mean, let's be honest, he got as much as he had issues, he also got 8 assists, and getting 8 assists from your wing back slash right back, whatever you want to call it, that's not easy to replace. You know what I mean? There's no guarantees that you're going to get that kind of output, out of a player in that position. He was one of the higher. I'd have to look it up, but I think he was like third or fourth highest of as far as fullbacks. If you can, wingbacks or fullbacks on assists last season. So a good argument to say that we could do a lot worse than Kabore. So yeah, I wouldn't mind keeping him. But for me, I think I don't know that I'd bring him players similar to him. I think for me, I think I'd find somebody a little different. I'd find a little more defensive minded, and so you kind of had that a little bit of both. You know what I mean? Not a
Yeah.
pure defensive guy, but somebody that can definitely contribute a little more on the defensive side, because I think that's where most of our complaints about Kabore was just in the defense. I don't think anybody really can complain too much about his offensive output. Now, I do agree there were times where he did kind of look out of sync with the team going forward, but generally, I think he had pretty good. He was a pretty good offensive player for us. Um, so yeah, it'll be interesting. Now he's not. I did not include him in my group of four just
Yeah.
because
We know who he
we all
is.
know
Yeah.
him. You know what I mean? There's no real reason to go through him, but he definitely would be. I like you. I wouldn't be upset at all if we found out tomorrow we signed Kabore. You know what I mean? I think I'd be
Okay.
perfectly fine with that.
Just for fun, because I've just looked it up there while we're talking.
Mhm.
Compare Thomason to Kabore, ignoring left and right side. Where do you place them on skill levels
Well,
in
I
that
think
role?
it's
I know Thomason isn't a winger, but that's the point.
for me. I don't know I haven't really looked through his numbers, but for me, I think just from watching them, I think they're a little different because where Kabore uses his pace to get the ball up the field, whether it's him just getting open and receiving a
Mhm.
long ball from deep, or whether it's him running with the ball. Uh, I think you get a lot of combination play with Thomason. You know what I mean? So it's a little different.
Mhm.
The advancing down the field is different. It's not. I don't think he does the counter attack stuff as well as Kabore, but when it's not a counter attack, I think he's much better at getting the ball down the pitch because he does work well with the other players, and there's a lot of uh, inner working, between those guys. Now that being said, I do remember him getting a handful of assists. Anyway, I wouldn't be surprised if he had 5 or 6. So
Who's
uh,
the better player for the positions?
the better.
If you could only have one,
If you
ignoring
can
what you
only have
need,
one and assume
left and
they're
right, who do you want? Who's better?
I'll probably go with Kabore just because I think at a certain point you just can't beat pace.
Okay.
I think pace sets him apart. That's for me. That's
Kabore got 8 assists
yeah,
last season.
yeah,
Thomason got 5 assists and a goal.
yeah, yeah.
The output between them is not terribly far away.
Not far. Yeah,
When you start giving discounts to Thomason for not playing the position and
yeah,
other elements and not being as fast, it just kind of puts a little bit of interesting statage to it.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
people can argue it both ways. Some people say Kabore is nowhere near good enough. He can't finish. He's got pace, but nothing else. Other people say no, he just needs a bit more time with the team. He needs some other fast players around him, and he'd be perfect. And either of them could be true.
hmm
I'm completely
yeah,
out on it. We could buy Kabore for the next season. He could be absolutely
mm,
amazing. He could be blistering fast, banging in goals and assists for us, or he could be a
yeah,
complete wash.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't know with Kabore. I even after the season, I can't tell what it would be if we bought him back again next year.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. You know what? There's a good point. Free Pucks just threw something in the chat, and I'm gonna pull it up. I agree with that. Kabore got double teamed.
Yeah.
Thomason did, and that's true. Teams would try
And
to
I
take
said there are
Kabore out of the.
reasons. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that may have been why Thomason
Mhm.
had so much room on his side of the pitch, because Kabore was getting double teamed on the other side. That's a great point that I honestly hadn't thought of. Yeah, that's that's interesting. It's an interesting
Okay.
conversation. It
Yeah.
really is. It's
But at the same time, now, just to give a little bit to Kabore, I would pick Kabore too. I do not think Thomason is good enough in that position.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm kind of under the inside. I don't know how Phil's going to look at it. I'm under the assumption this season that Thomason's back in the midfield. You know what I mean? I'm not seeing him as now. I can see him as a
backup,
third choice, backup. If we need him, on the left. But yeah, I think I prefer him.
Thomason did very well in the position, with all the caveats of he shouldn't have been there. It's not his position. All of this, he got a lot of leeway with the mistakes that he made, and he's not quick enough, and he's not reading the game well enough in certain positions, and fast-paced players are getting past him. That's all fine. He got a pass on a lot of that because he was out of position, but that's a reason I wouldn't want him as a starter in that position. Very good as a backup. That's fine. I have no problem with him. Even being second choice at times, especially if we need to. Okay, we can live with that. But I don't want him as a starter. Kabore could be a starter if he ups his game a little bit.
Yeah.
Or if we get a load of other great players around him, and all of a sudden he's not getting double teamed, and that makes a difference.
Yeah, exactly. If you get a weapon on the other side, then they've got to choose who's who they got to stop. Yeah, that's it changes things. Yeah, I think he divides. I mean, even in our chat right here, you got Hunter was in there giving it hell. He's not a fan of Kabore, but that's fair though. He divides opinions, and I totally get it. I just, like I said to start with, I think it's hard to replace 8 assists from your wingback / fullback. So I think that's good output for anybody. So I wouldn't be upset, like you said. I wouldn't be upset at all if we found out tomorrow we're signing Kabore. So that being said,
first poll. I had a different one ready, but I've changed it. The question going up is: we need 2 right wing back this summer. Do you want Kabore back? Yes or no?
Yeah. Okay.
In the chat,
so assuming we get 2,
as I now posted. Assuming we're getting 2.
Assuming 2, would you want Kabore as 1?
Do you want Kabore back? Yes or no?
That's a good one.
Sure. You should now see it. And 1 for yes, 2 for no in the chat gets you your answers, guys, and we'll have a look at it again in a few minutes. So, sorry for interrupting you. What were you saying?
Okay, so what I was gonna say, we've got a handful of players we can look at. So, and the first one is kind of the obvious one. We've been linked to him. Everybody's gonna know who it is. Terry Devlin. Terry Devlin is a fantastic player. He's young, which is great. He's getting into the Northern Ireland team, so he's I think any player getting into their national team is that's good. It's good development. It's good. It's just good experience, I think. So yeah, I really like Terry Devlin. I think he's good going. He's interesting. So he gets in on goal. He scored 5 goals this season. He only got one assist though. I do think that's kind of a feature of their how they play, their style. I think he was playing. He would cut in a little more, come inside, and
he would be doing a bit of the Max Kluwer to work.
If you think when Max comes forward for us, that was kind of the area of the pitch where Terry
Devlin was
going for coming into, because they had a winger in front of him, so he didn't need to take up. Now, occasionally, he does do the overlap and stuff, but generally, he would kind of slide inside when he'd get forward. But I do think he's much better defensively, though.
Yeah, I do suppose the question for Terry himself is maybe does he want a more attacking role?
Yeah.
Because we know he's very solid defensively. If he was to play right wing back for us, it would
Yeah.
naturally then be completely opening up
Yeah.
his attacking options. However, it's also an assisting role, being out in the wing and getting the ball in. Is that his forte? Is he good at getting those assists? Because we said it's a different role he's playing. He hasn't been needing to assist others. He's been coming up late and going attack. So interesting one. I'm not totally sold on him as a full on right wing back, but he very well could be. Like there are areas there, as you've just said, that make you think he could be a decent right wing back if he wanted to be one.
Yeah, I think one thing to look at some of the stuff. Actually, can you move that? I just realized it's right in the way of some of the stats. So successful crosses per 90, 6.85. That's high. That's pretty good. He gets crosses, and actually that actually makes me wonder if I screwed that number up. That seems a lot. I'm gonna double check because I feel like I might have. That seems way high. Let me double check that real quick. Where's it at? Let's see. Yeah, that's way high. Okay. Oh, that should be an O, I think. Successful crosses. Yeah, sorry. Okay, so I was going to say 6.85. That's ridiculous. No, that's too high. So I screwed that up. It's 0.85. But yeah, he's a good player though. Defensive contributions per 90, 9.38. So he's getting involved defensively. And he's not going to be. I don't think he's going to be super expensive. I mean, they've got him market value 3.45. He's not going to be super expensive, but he's not. He's not going to be a bank breaker either. You know what I mean? You're not going to spend a fortune on him. It'll be under 5 million for sure. You know what I mean? You're not going to spend that much. Probably under 4, really. So for me, I think it's a no-brainer. He's got championship experience. He's young, so he's going to get better. I mean, ideally, you'd think a 22-year-old is going to get better. As where, you look at Kabore, he's what, 26 now, I think. So, he's getting. I mean, he's in his prime, but he's probably getting close to where that's kind of is what he is.
Yeah, he
you
better
don't
make that
expect
jump soon if he's going to.
Yeah,
he's going to
you're
up his
not.
game.
Yeah, you're not expecting a huge leap from him probably for the rest of his career. Not a huge. I mean, obviously he could get better, but you don't expect anything huge. Now, a 22-year-old could have a huge leap. May not. Could get worse, but you'd expect it to get better.
Yeah, and the question is, like, leaving aside Premier League and all of that, because most of the team gets swapped out anyway for the Prem and Prem quality. He doesn't need a massive improvement in order to be a solid player. Because I was just going to mention there is I don't think our left wing back and right wing back cost us the playoffs last season. They were decent. They could be better. So I don't think they're areas that, like, if you had similar numbers that Kabore got from Terry, but he seems to be a little bit more attacking as well. And if he turned up with a more solid defensive game, then I think that's enough. If he could match kind of where Kabore was number-wise by the end of the season, but then have a more solid defensive game, that would be an improvement.
Yeah. I've like I said, I really like him. If we go into the season and it's Terry Devlin and Issa Kabore are 2 right wing backs, that'd be great. I'd love that. So
yeah, because the interesting point you said, and it's a fair point, if you had someone who is supposed to be more defensive and you have the speed of Kabore fighting each other on that level for that position, that would be a really interesting battle between the two of them.
Well, and it could be, and it may be one of those things where different teams are going to give us, if we think we need to be more defensive, then it's Devlin. If we need to get after somebody, then it's Kabore, and you just rotate them like that. And I think it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, we saw like with our attacking mids where there were games where it was Windass and Broadhead, but then there were games it was O'Brien and Rathbone. You know what I mean? Where we needed to be a little more defensive. It wasn't quite so
Yeah.
attacking. So yeah, it's just if he did something like that, at the right wing back spot, I'd be happy with that. So let's move on to our next one. We've had a lot of chat, and I know everybody's pretty aware of Terry Devlin. Here's a player that you might have heard. I mean, I'm sure if you've watched anything on YouTube, there's a lot of people are mentioning his name. A lot of clubs are looking at him. Ryan Alabioso, or Yufu, I don't know. I don't know how you say it. I'm a hillbilly. I'm sure I mispronounced it, but I think as a player we can get a little less expensive. I think it's probably going to be more than the 1.25 that Transfer Markt have on him, because I think there is a little bit of interest, and he had a pretty decent season in the championship for Blackburn. He's not quite as young, but he's still younger. He's 24, so he's definitely not old. He's 6'2", so he's got a little bit of height to him. He got 1 goal and 5 assists, so he's contributing. He contributing in a team that was pretty bad, a team that wasn't very good. So with better players around him, could he do more? He's got good pace about him. He's not. I wouldn't call him a speed demon. He's not. I don't think he's probably as fast as Kabore, but he does have good speed. He's got good pace. He's maybe not quite as good defensively as as the other, but I just I think he does probably give you a little more attacking wise as far as getting crosses in and successful crosses per 91.2. That's a really good number. I know that some of those numbers, like if you're not looking at them a lot, you may not know what that means necessarily, but that's a good number. If you're getting that many crosses in, you're successful crosses, is not just random.
And to be fair, we did kind of think that different positions. He is playing the wingback role, so he will get more crosses as an option.
That's true.
So like he could be putting in 5 or 6 crosses and screwing them all up, but he's putting in so many, he's got a higher stat. So I don't expect that. I'm just saying like the stat alone successful. Okay, how many were unsuccessful? It's also relevant, but he's in a better position to get those crosses. So both fair.
So just for reference, Issa Kabore per 90, so the same stat was at 1.15. Okay. So he's a little more successful than Issa as far as getting balls in. Not much more, but a little bit more. So that's a good reference for you. You can, that's fair, and they're playing the same position as where Devlin was a fullback. Really, he wasn't really a wingback.
Right. Now that you've gone there, what was Kabore's defensive contributions in 90? Have you got that?
Okay, so yes, I can pull it up real quick. 4.56, so a little less than Ryan. So he's a little better there.
5.43, but I was about to say a more defensive team. However, we've probably let in more goals. Well, maybe not.
I think we did. But
so okay.
Yeah. I really like him. I think he's a player we could get. Maybe not cheap, but at a really
reasonable
price. We're not gonna spend a fortune on him. There are other teams involved. There's definitely some other teams looking at him. But that's a player. He screams. I'll be honest. He screams Phil Parkinson. I think it's the exact type of player Phil will be looking at. I'd be really surprised if we're not at least asking the question. Getting a hold of Blackburn and saying, "Hey, what's it going to take?" And he's a good one.
And just for some base numbers, I would say we're going to spend a minimum of 30 again this summer, looking for maybe 6 players. So that's easily 5 million each. If you're talking less than 5 million, I'm not too worried about the amount we're spending.
Right.
So it's down for 1.25 now. Maybe get him for 3-4 million. Whatever. It's within range. Let's say it's reasonable.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's move on from Ryan here.
Before you do, I'm going to stop this
Oh,
poll.
okay.
Just
Okay.
it just
Boom.
changed. Just as
I
I
saw
hit,
it. I went. Yep.
it went 50-50.
50-50.
Right at the end, someone
Yep.
hit yes.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
That's
Let's
funny.
take that one away for the moment.
Okay.
Right.
All right. So, ready to move on?
Yeah.
All right. So let's. All right. Got a German player, Lauren Kurta. He's unbelievable. I'm gonna be honest. Of the three players, I think he's the best player that that we've talked about so far.
Mhm.
And actually, I think he's probably the best that I've got of my four. I think he's the best one. He's 24. He's 6'1" from Germany. Started every match. Played 90 minutes most matches. He's really good at set pieces. He took some free kicks. He scored 7 goals. He got 7 assists. That's for Paderborn. That's in the second division of Germany.
Mm-hmm.
They played him more like a fullback, so he wasn't getting quite. It's hard to say. He played more like Devlin, but he did get involved. Obviously, got involved attacking wise. So it was it's tough one because like the successful crosses doesn't quite come off like you it doesn't look as good of a number. And why is it defensive contribution? I swear I'm terrible at this. I'll tell you what, it's defensive contributions per 90. Sorry, I had it up there. I swear I did. Let's see where to go. So find him real quick. Lauren Kurta. I really should have double checked this stuff, shouldn't I? Considering I did it like a week ago. I had time.
Okay, I just checked one of their last matches there where he got a solid 8.5 and a goal.
Yep.
They played a 3-4-2-1.
Okay,
so
they did it playing as a wing back.
So he was playing as a wing back.
Wing back. Let's see here. Okay, let me get your stats up because I want to give you that defensive stat. Okay, defensive contributions per 90 were 6.48 is what it is. Successful crosses per 90 was 0.97, which is lower than some of the other players on the list, but it's good. He's a very good player, though. You just got to see him really good on the ball. He's one of those, like, you see him on the ball, it's like, oh, that's that. You just immediately it jumps out at you. It's like when he's running with the ball, it's like attached to his foot type of player. Right. That type of player, really good with the ball at his feet. My camera died or something.
7 really looks tasty for a season if he's playing right wing back most of the year.
Oops, there we go.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, guys. Now my background's off. That figures. Oh well, I'll mess with it later. So anyway, Lauren Kurta is my favorite pick of this group of the right wing backs. He does have a lot of interest from Bundesliga teams, though. Now they're not. I don't think they're the higher up Bundesliga teams. They're kind of the lower end, so I think we can still compete with them because the Bundesliga is interesting. Like a lot of the top divisions in Europe. It's like the bigger teams are really big, like Bayern Munich and some of the teams like that. But then you get down to the lower end of it, and they're really not. They're not spending much more than what championships teams are. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's really the league itself is very. There's a big separation in the top teams and the lower teams. So I think we could probably compete for him. Whether he'd want to come, he is German, so I'm sure growing up he always wanted to play in the Bundesliga. So it's one of those that what's he want? We just have to figure it out.
Yeah. So Paderborn came third in the Bundesliga 2.
Yes.
This season.
Yes.
Because I wanted to see where they ended up because of you mentioning there obviously the different levels, and this is Bundesliga 2, so I was hoping they'd be up there at the higher end there. So then the question kind of always is, well, is it championship level? Is it not championship level? It's
how's it translate?
how does it translate, from the European leagues? Some players are just obviously good enough, and others not. It depends. So at 24, I would kind of have expected him to maybe made the step up to a lower Bundesliga team. I don't know. What do you think? Like, I would be expecting to grab a 22-year-old out of the second divisions, with that little bit more. But his numbers say he's good, so I'm not. I don't mind that chance, but it's always the worry for me.
Yeah, I totally take your point. I tend to agree there. You do think by 24, you'd think he'd make that jump, but I think with the interest that he's got in him now, I think he's definitely moving. He's moving on this summer, almost for sure. So I think I don't know. He's a great player.
But also the idea of him maybe wanting to play in the Bundesliga. There is a option to come to us for a couple of seasons, and then if he's not good enough for the Premier League, he could then move back to the Bundesliga. After kind of getting promotion from the Championship, that would likely springboard him back into the Bundesliga at 26.
It's possible. Again, it's kind of a him. That's the only thing that's hard. Like when I'm scouting some of these guys that are in Europe, and it's like I really like this guy, but I don't even know if he'd be interested in coming to play in England. You know what I mean? Like, is he even interested in the move? You just don't know.
But,
that's one of the.
But again,
this is where
but this is where the value kind of does come in. If you're going to get him for the 5 million or less, that seems like pretty reasonable value if he kicks on.
Well, and I'll tell you, they've got him listed at Transfermarkt. And the one thing with Transfermarkt, I will say, they do a really good job at valuing players in Germany because they are based in Germany. And so, I mean, they've got him at 2.5. That's probably about where he's going to go, would be my guess. So, I mean, I think that's a steal. You know what I mean? If we could get him for that, I think you were stealing him. Just watching, like I said, you just got to watch him play. There's plenty of highlight reels. Get on there, watch him. He's great on the ball. He's a great. He can take set pieces. He can, take free kicks. He can. I mean, he's great on the ball. He's physical. He's a good player. You know what I mean? He's not going to get pushed off the ball. He's not thin. He's not a little guy that's going to get pushed off the ball. He will absolutely, he's strong enough to keep, stay on it. He kind of reminds me, you watch him running down the pitch. He reminds me of Longman a little bit, just because his physical presence, kind of thicker, bigger guy, compared to the guys around him. So physically, I think he just looks really good. I really like him. I think he's a great one. But like I said, we just, would he be interested in a move to the championship? It's hard to tell.
Out of all the European leagues, I do think that the German league translates best to the physicality of the championship. I think German players seem to get that mindset a lot easier than some other leagues.
Yeah. Okay. And then there's one more, which is interesting because I saw today he got linked with some championship teams. So it kind of made me feel like, hey, look, because I didn't think I'd never heard his name until I found him. Nolan Galvez. He played in the second division in France. Wrote it second. No, I'm forgotten. I think it's second division. I think they're either lower the top division or they're in the second division. I can't remember. But 22. He's 5'11". He is from France. 32 matches, 29 starts, no goals, but he got 7 assists. Successful crosses per 90, 2.07. So he's getting crosses in. Defensive contributions per 90, only 3.59. So he's a forward player. But his market value, he is they've got him listed at 1.5 million. The article or the thing I saw today, he got linked with Millwall and QPR. Interestingly, so I feel like if we're looking at similar players as what Millwall are, if you consider their position in the league, I think we're probably looking at the right type of player.
Yeah.
They had him lit, in that article or whatever on X that I saw. They had him between 800,000 and $1 million. So I think so he could be cheaper than what it's showing there. I think if you can get him for that, I think he's a great buy. Again, more of an attacking threat, not quite the defensive threat. And again, that could be system. It could be a system thing. You just don't know, but you'd like to think your wingback gets you a little more defensive contribution. So I think if there was an issue, I think that's probably the one. But
yeah, one personally, I don't particularly like the League Two players, French players. I don't know. Wouldn't be my immediate, but that's just a league thing, not necessarily a player. If I'm going to hold that against him, they finished 5th, and I'm just looking at the table, and it reminded me they only played 34 matches, as compared to us. So his 0 goals with 7 assists now looks a little bit better. For reminding myself that they didn't play as many matches. So like that may have translated to 8 or 9, 10, even by the end of our full season. But same sort of thing again with Kakache. Like, is he up for the physicality of the championship, playing 46 matches and getting in about it? That worries me about the French leagues a little bit.
So just doing a little quick math for you there on the point you're just making. If he would have played at the rate he was getting assists, if he'd have played 46 games, he'd have got 11.5 is what it would. So which is that's better,
That's much better, yeah.
Now whether he holds up for a full 46 games, that's a different question. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but he also started 29 out of 32. So,
exactly. So
yeah,
nothing to say. No reason to think
majority. No reason. Yeah.
So he's a really good attacking player, though. He gets forward, fun to watch. I wouldn't say he's like I wouldn't say he's electric pace, but he's not slow. You know what I mean? None of these guys I got listed today are slow. You wouldn't call any of them slow. They'd all be faster. For me, I think they're all faster than what Thomason is. You know what I mean? For instance, and probably Longman too. They're probably all at least that faster. And it's hard to judge that because it's not like you've got metrics. So, but just watching, the clips, the highlights you see, and you kind of get a feel for how fast guys are. And he looked pretty good. And again, 22 years old, you'd expect him to get a little better. Again, like you said, does it translate to the championship? You'd like to think it would, but we don't know. You don't know until they do it. But the fact that I did see that tweet today, Lincoln, I saw it, I liked it, but then I also thought, oh dang it, I kind of didn't want, you know what I mean? Because it's like it makes me feel good because I feel like I'm looking in the right places, but also it's like I don't want anybody else getting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Did you just pick 4 players for this one?
Yes, only 4 players. Okay. If you want to make a
new poll is live now, and it's too big. It's covering my face, so I'm going to move it.
Yeah, you move it. I'll actually. We can have a. What I'll do is, I'll bring this down, and then we can have a discussion about.
Okay. So
left wing backs.
First thought here is, where is my amazing monster right wing back that is guaranteed to blow the championship apart? I don't know. All right. So that leads me on to question number 2, which is a little bit more specific.
Mhm.
Which one of those players is guaranteed to get the first starting spot over Kabore if Kabore is number 2?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Is
That's
there
the
a guarantee?
level.
I don't know if there's a guarantee. Yeah, I don't know.
That's fine. We you can't always have guarantees,
Mhm.
and they're not ridiculous money. So if we're in the lineup here where we're saying we need 2 and we get 2, whether Kabore is thrown in there or not, doesn't matter. Out of the 5, then any 2 out of that 5, I think that's a reasonable starting point for the right wing back next season.
Chris says he can't give a proper answer. Just pick one. It doesn't matter. Pick Ryan Alabiosa because nobody else has. There you go, Chris. I tell you, you got everybody sleeping on him. He's a really good player. He's got championship experience. I think you guys are sleeping on him.
I will say this. I do like Terry Devlin because he's so defensive.
Mm-hmm.
And I personally think that the stats there show that Devlin can kick a ball.
Mm-hmm.
So if you free him up, because you were mentioning swapping him with Kabore depending on the match.
Yeah,
and I agree with that idea. However, I think there is the potential here that Terry Devlin could get himself into a scenario faster where when we need to be defensive, you tell him to be defensive. And he's solid. He can do it. If we need to be attacking because of the team we're up against, then he goes and attacks and he lets some of the defensive duties slide, puts caution to the wind if he's in the attacking role. Whereas Kabore, could you turn around and tell him to swap his game between being defensive and being more attacking? I'm not so sure. But of course, Devlin has to prove he can do the attack as well. So there's no guarantee there. I just think that if he gets a bit of time, I could see him potentially doing it based solely on his numbers for the position he was playing. It looks solid. Unless they were all headers from corners.
Oh shoot. Yeah, I'll be honest. It's funny that you ask. I don't see you saying that you don't see the big one. Where's the big one? And I'll be honest with you, I found it hard to find that player.
Yeah.
Because
within the price range we're able to spend.
Price it goes real quick from under 5 million to over 10 in a hurry. And I don't see us spending over $10 million on a wingback. There's too many players out there at much better value. I don't think you're going to spend that much on it. It's a striker that's different. I don't think it's a problem spending that much on a striker. I just don't see us ever. In the championship. I don't see you spending that much on a wingback. Now, on some of these left wingbacks, I was able to find a little more. We'll get into it, but I was able to find some that kind of were more in the 6-7 type range. You know what I mean? That I think are a little closer to that. Could blow people away. We'll get into it, but yeah, I think it was tough trying to find a player that I thought we could get that wasn't going to be too crazy expensive. So that's that was part of that.
I kind of like. What age is Terry? Do you remember offhand?
Devlin,
yeah.
22.
22 as well. Yeah, see, nice and young, but he has championship experience.
Exactly, yeah, experience.
But then, like, if you were to pair him with someone like Galvez at 22 or Kurda at 24 and have the two of them really push each other, that could be a nice scenario to have between the two of them. Yeah. I kind of like that, and price-wise, it seems okay. The two of them for less than 10, yeah. I think you can get that.
Tom Evans says, you missed Toure. I didn't miss him. I've already done him before, and so I didn't want to do him again. We did him in January. And it was kind of like, I didn't want to just do a whole list of the people that we've all been talking about for, you know what I mean? Like, I could have done him, but I included Devlin. And so it was like, do I want to just do a list of the guys that we've been linked to? You know, that's kind of, you know, I just wanted to get other names out there that people haven't heard, you know.
What was Toure's first name?
Idrissa. It's Idrissa.
Yeah, Idrissa Toure. Pisa. There we go. Yeah, so he's 28. And a bit more solid, more likely to take that number one spot from these kind of players. More seasons, more ready to go. So I would put him in a slightly higher category than these guys. Don't mind if we did get him. Yeah, okay. That's fine. But yeah, I'd like to roll the dice on two of these guys.
Yeah, here's what I was going to talk about this. Rumors Trippier wants out of Wolves. Yeah, I shared that in the chat. Was that yesterday or the day before? I'll tell you what, if you get Trippier, that changes everything.
Can you remember what source that came from?
Huh?
Can you remember what source put that out?
That Trippier was there upset. Was a handful. It was all over X when it popped. Let me Google.
No, okay. It was just what do you think the reliability on it is?
I think it's
were they all good. Copying each other, or
I think it was fairly good.
You see, the reason I mentioned that is because for me, it's a very dangerous thing.
Peter O'Rourke.
Okay, there you go.
Right. That's a solid. That's
solid.
So Peter,
yeah,
that's solid.
Because here's the thing: for me, that's a very dangerous thing to put out there.
Yeah.
If you're not literally going to fire on that.
Yeah.
And say, no, you've screwed me over. I'm not doing it. Yeah. Because you don't know who the next manager is, and you've put it out there now. That you're already putting yourself in an uncomfortable relationship with your new boss and your new team. You know, now of course you can walk it back and whatever, and you know, but yeah, this is the sort of thing that probably professional players, well paid, you know, like a lot of people in every walk of life, if you feel you've been kind of done over, and you don't throw caution to the wind and you just go for it and say out loud in front of lots of people, you know what I mean? How dare you treat me like this or whatever, and it gets out there. Yeah. But for me, if you're going to do it, then pull the trigger. You know, you're big enough, you know, you'll get another club. Walk is kind of my way here, but I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. It'll be interesting. I don't know. I mean, it's a long shot, obviously, and let's be honest, it wouldn't be just us. It would be interesting. I mean,
no, it wouldn't be. And it kind of came up lately in a couple of videos with the context being we don't need a star and we don't need a big money player to come in and do it for us, kind of, you know. We can do it as a team. We can keep the cohesion and all of this. And that's an interesting question with Wrexham, because the way we're working as a team right now, do we need our star talisman to focus to get us over the line? You know, sometimes that seems like that's what the lower league teams do, is they bring in that massive star, they put everything to them, and either it works or it doesn't. So I don't know if we would necessarily want to stretch all our budget and money to the wages and whatever. But if you can get a deal, get a deal.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is,
I'm not going to turn someone down.
Yeah, he's on a free, so we're not spending you're not going to spend that at all. It's all going to go to his wages. I don't know what they were offering him wage wise.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's pretty high. It's not going to be low to get him to come down, because I'm sure he could have got, he could have got picked up by one of the teams in the lower half of the Premier League. So, yeah, it's again, it's one of those. It's a long shot, but it's also, I think, if it's a possibility and you can get it done, absolutely do it. I think you can absolutely do that.
But it's an interesting one as well, because there was another one that came out as well where Parky admitted that he had a player, he wanted a player, they were ready to pull the trigger, and apparently he got feedback from 2 ex-managers of the guy, and they said he was weak in training during the week, during the training part of the week, and they cut him loose and didn't go after it. Now, that's a discussion we'll need to have at some point. We'll need to go over a little bit of this. Maybe it'll be for after we see who we get in the summer, or what have you, or we can do it at any point, but it's an interesting one as to at what point are you cutting off your nose to spite your face.
Right.
Like in January, we don't know who that player is, and I might do a bit of digging and see if I can figure out some options as to who it might have been, because that would be relevant if we could work that out. But like, at what point do you have to just take the quality if it's there and deal with some of these issues? Sometimes it might seem like they're afraid to deal with these issues. If you want to look at it that way, like, you're never going to be able to keep this up the whole way up to the Prem. You're going to get a lot of assholes when you're in the Prem. It's going to be really difficult to keep absolutely everybody in this perfect type of mentality. You're going to have to deal with different types of people that want different things. Anyway.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so poll is over. Devlin won with 62%. Ryan Albiosi, 8%. Kurda and Galvez both 15%.
It's interesting. I'd have thought Kurda would have finished higher. I think if everybody had the time, I mean, obviously they're watching us. Go give him a look on YouTube. I think you might change your vote. He's really good. He looks really good. You have to give a look at him. But okay, so let's move on. Let's talk about left wing backs. Yep. So on the left side, I see this a little different. I think if he can stay healthy, I think we have one really good left wing back. Yeah. And we also have a really good wing back at cover, a guy that can play cover, Thomason. That being said, I still think we need to strengthen over there. So, obviously, with the health issues with Kikache, I think, I mean, you can't trust that. You can't just blindly trust that he's going to stay healthy. You have to assume there's a good chance he could get hurt again. I'd love to see him prove that wrong and be healthy for the whole season, and it's possible he does. But just the way last season went, you just no way of knowing. You can't bank on it,
Yeah.
So I think we're definitely going to do something on the left. I'd be really surprised if we didn't do it. So yeah, for me, I think you get one in, whether it doesn't necessarily have to be the starter. You know what I mean? It doesn't have, because I think we did, you'll remember we did some of this where I was breaking down like the games that Kikache started, our record in those games. It was ridiculous. We won almost all of those games. We were very, very good record when he started games compared to when he didn't. And it was a glaring thing. It was like, oh, wow, that's crazy. So, I think he's definitely a good player. So I don't think we have to have a big, a big blowaway signing.
Similar level.
But
I'm happy.
If we can get somebody in that mold, though, and have him, give him competition, I think that's Andrew C. You're not allowed to talk. What are you doing? You're coming in here. And it's almost like you're reading my mind. This is an obvious one. I think everybody's in for Dennis Cirkin. He's on a free. He's a great player. 24 years old. The the stats you can't get a ton from. The stats I did here. These are his championship stats from not this past season because obviously he was in the Prem.
Yeah,
Sunderland were in the Prem. This is from the championship the season before. He only
yeah,
played like 5 or 6 games in the Prem, so I didn't think that was fair to him, and it
yeah.
wouldn't give a fair reflection of the player that he is. So these are his stats from the championship 2 seasons ago, and um, also keep in mind for the most part he was playing as left back, not
Mhm.
so more defensive minded for sure, and it shows defensive contribution 7.9 per game as compared to only 0.49 successful crosses per game. But he did chip in with 3 goals and got 2 assists. But he's playing full. That was that left-sided fullback. They were playing a 4-2-3-1,
Mm.
slash 4-3-3, 4-4-2 stuff. They were, they didn't. I don't think they went to a back three. If they did at all, it wasn't often uh, that season. So, but yeah, I think this is the one that I think everybody's looking at. Most of the top half of the championship teams are, if they need a left back or a left wing back, they're in for Dennis Cirkin. That being said, I do think he can play really good as an attacking. I think he could play that spot. I think he can play as a wing back. He's not one that you would be like, oh, can he do it? I think he absolutely can. Um, I think he'd be fine. I think playing as an attacking type player, I think suits him
Yeah,
just fine. He's got decent pace. He's not he's a good passer. Um, but he's the type of guy who gives you a little more defensive stuff, and he would absolutely challenge Kakache for that spot. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yes,
Which,
yeah,
and honestly, that may work against us. He may look at us and say, "Well, you got Kakache there. Do I want to fight with him for a spot, or do I want to go to whoever and start?" And I
yeah,
know I'm
um,
started, so that
yeah,
may actually work. The fact we have Kakache could work against us on a player
yeah.
like this.
Depending on what he wants to do himself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, because again, if he played the defensive role and then went up to the Prem and couldn't get a spot
Mm-hmm.
either,
Yeah.
it's like, well, what do you do? How do you get to the Prem and potentially get played and kept?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So if he can play left back and he can also play left wing back, now his utility for us as a team is completely changed. And that is something that immediately hit me when you said he played mostly left back.
Yeah.
Because a different question is, how do we cover our left back on that side when we have a player that is kind of nailed on and we want to play every match? How do we cover that and convince a player to come in
Right.
knowing they probably won't start?
Yeah.
So this is potentially the way to do it.
Yeah.
He is absolutely perfect cover if we have a problem during the season to move back and take up a defensive position
Mm-hmm.
potentially.
Yeah.
But he comes in to fight for the left wing back role.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Yeah. He's a. Yeah. I mean, just be hands down would be a fantastic signing. Again, my thing would be, can you get him to come? I mean, obviously, we can
Mm.
think
Yeah,
money wise. I think we can compete with
yeah,
most everybody. I don't think that's a problem. As far not you don't have to pay a fee for him, so we could throw it all in his in his paycheck if we wanted to. So yeah, I think he'd be a fantastic player. Um, be a good one for sure. Be a good one for sure. But let's move on from him. That was one I kind of that was the gimme. You know what I mean? I think
hmm,
everybody's linked with him. Everybody's heard of him. But I couldn't leave him off. Um, Here's one that I really like. I like him a lot. Left wing back. His name's Basar Unal. He plays at NEC Nijmegen, I think is how you say it. He's in the Eredivisie. He 7 goals, 7 assists last season. 1.17 crosses per 90. Only 2.0 defensive contributions per 90. Now that is very much a product of their system. He's interestingly, if assuming the sites that I've been checking on are right, and I tried to verify it and I couldn't, he's actually a right footer playing on the left. They play him. They play not one cross per 90. That's one successful crosses per 90. So that's actually somebody's getting on the end of it.
Yeah.
You know, they play him like a inverted winger almost. He's a wing back, and he does get back. I mean, they play a back three, but absolutely plays like it. Going forward, he plays like an inverted winger and cuts inside. It's really interesting. I'd love to see us try it occasionally. He's a very attacking player. But I mean that he's not going to be cheap. They've got him market valued around 6. There's some clubs in Turkey that were I can't pronounce the name. Starts with a B. It's like Beşiktaş. Yeah, maybe that might be it. I think they were linked. I think there's a couple teams in Turkey. He's from Turkey, or at least has citizenship there. He might be a dual citizen. He's fantastic. I watch him play. Get on YouTube and watch him play. That's like holy cow. You know what I mean? But yeah, really good pace, really good on the ball. He's playing at a high level. It's a 3-4-2. Yeah, 3-4-2-1, but it is attack 8. Yeah. John, I could absolutely see he could come in and play as a left winger. That's basically how he plays for them. He almost does no defending at all. Like if you watch him, and he plays like an inverted winger, he really does. But technically, if you're looking at, on paper, he's a left wing back. So very much a Issa Gabore type. You know what I mean? He's an attacker. You may not get as much out of him defensively, but 7 goals and 7 assists, in in the Eredivisie. I think that's
29 matches as well.
Yeah. So, which I think they play. Where they play 32. I think, is that right? Not sure. Not positive. I'd have to double check that.
I can check it.
But yeah, he's really good. Get in on highlights on him.
34.
34. Okay, so
he
played most of the games. Yeah, really good. I'll be honest. I didn't include him, and I almost did. His counterpart, the right wing back, very similar. I didn't want to do them both because it's kind of, obviously we're not going to go in for both of them. And since I was only doing 4 players per position.
Here's an interesting question. If he's a right footer, can he cover the right hand side?
You see, and that's a question. Maybe he could. I'm just not seeing. And that's assuming, like I said, if you look at FODMOB says he's a right footer. I can't remember. I found several of those types of sites all saying he was a right footer. He put some crosses in on his left foot, like you would expect our left wingers to do, our left wing backs to do. He put some left-footed crosses in that look completely natural. Like those, you can see those in highlights. So he may just be really good with both.
It's not. Yeah, exactly. It's not unheard of.
Right.
To actually be good on both. Just because
Yeah.
he hasn't been played on the right-hand side very much doesn't mean he can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And again, if he was a backup, we do have issues on the right. If he was capable of playing both, he could be the backup on the right-hand side, but be the main guy on the left. You know,
John,
that might also help.
John, I don't need you messaging me this garbage in the middle of the show. He's trying to tell me that Fiorentina are in for Masaru, which doesn't surprise me. He's a very good player. He's 21 years old. He's a very good player. So, yeah. So apparently we've got competition for him.
Okay.
You know, it's not an easy one to get, but yeah, he's a really good one. He's a really good one.
Did you notice
Mm-hmm.
that he's also free next year?
Is it
on our
next
squad
season?
list?
What I didn't check.
Squad list.
It?
He was 20 in January.
Oh, is he? Oh,
Yeah.
yes. I think he was. He's the one. That's right. I couldn't remember. I mean, I totally spaced that.
July 6th is his birthday, so it's just passed. He's just become 21. So he was 20 in January.
No, that ain't right. No. He'll be getting ready to turn 22. It's not July yet. Oh. July 6th, he's 20. Yeah, he's getting ready to turn 22.
I read it as
so
June.
He's not free.
Sorry.
I was going to say, there was one of them.
My mistake.
I can't remember now. One of them, I think, is free. But
okay,
I've been looking at so many players, it's hard to I have to write it down and I forget some of it. Yeah. So contract wise though, I thought you were saying that he's under contract till June 20. I thought you meant he was going to be on a free.
I got it. That's
I misunderstood what you were saying. Yeah. He's under contract till 2028, but yeah, he's definitely going to be he'll be moving for sure. So again, really good player. Does he fit us? Maybe not. You could argue that Phil, might want a little more defensive out of him. But I'll be honest, man. I mean, if you just take Isakabore as the case in point, I mean, we didn't get a ton out of him defensively. And you look at perfect example, Ryan Barnett. Ryan Barnett was a winger before he came to us.
Yeah.
If you watch him play, he's a freaking winger. He really is. He'd be a good winger, but we play him at left wing back. So it wouldn't be completely out of character for Phil to get a player that's probably more suited to be a winger and then use him as a wing back. So I don't know. It just depends. I mean, obviously, can we get him? Can we afford him? If Fiorentina's in for him, I'm sure they're willing to throw some money at him. Can we compete with that? Does he look does he look at a move to the championship as a move down? He is in the Eredivisie, to be fair. So he may not even be interested. It just depends, does getting to the Premier League mean anything to him? Does he look at it as a route to it, That's the type of stuff, but those are the things you just can't know. You wouldn't know unless you were talking to the player or his agent. So, could be one of those.
I just think players tend to get spoiled once they're in a major attacking role, and then I don't want to go back to that nasty defense stuff, and sacrifice a couple of goals, in order to be kind of assisting others. That's the one thing I would worry maybe with him with these high stats. But if he was willing to do it, he looks like he definitely kind of Kabore counterpart who can actually finish with the higher stats.
Esteban,
short season, like they're solid returns.
Okay, so I'll answer this. Esteban, honest question: what's the difference between a winger and a wing back? Mainly, a wing back, you're looking to get. You would look for more defensive output from that player. I mean, obviously, you're using him for width up the pitch. He's providing your width, in attack, but also you're looking for him to play, to track back in defense and play back. Whereas a lot of teams playing true wingers won't necessarily be looking for them to track back much. They're going to want them to get back some, but you're not. Sometimes a winger will just stand around the halfway line and be an outlet for your defense. You know what I mean? They don't necessarily get too involved. Some of them, depending on what formation you're using, but some of them just won't necessarily come back and get too involved defensively.
I would maybe explain it a little bit differently in my head, and that is, if you are playing as a winger, you have a defensive player directly behind you.
Right, support.
So very often you would have a 4 at the back, and the left-hand side of that 4 would be directly behind your position, covering the defensive role there. Whereas what we do is having the 3, you squeeze everybody in together a little bit more, so the outsides are not covered. So the left wing back has to track back, because if they don't cover that position, there's dead space out on the edge of the box, and they get into an attacking position. Similar with kind of like 4-4-2s and other 4-2-3-1s. That player on the left in the 3 has that defender behind him. He doesn't have to go back as far in those scenarios.
Yep. Exactly. Okay, so let's move on. I like this one. Okay. Berkey Yilmaz. Check his age. He might have been the one that was free this. I double check. I could be wrong. Can't remember. Berkey Yilmaz. He's been on loan for the last 2 seasons at Köln, I believe it was, in the 2nd division of Germany. And he has been really good. He's no goals, but he got 7 assists for them. 1.02 successful crosses per 90. 5.99 defensive contributions. So he's getting involved defensively a little bit. He's just a really good player. He's really good on the ball. He's a good passer. Freiburg's in the Bundesliga. He has come back from a 2-year loan. And
FC Freiburg.
FC Freiburg, yep, or SC Freiburg, whatever, and I couldn't find specific what his contract situation is with him, because I was wondering if maybe he was close to being out of contract. The fact that they sent him out for 2 years, maybe he'd be going into his last year, but I couldn't find anything on that, so I'm not positive. What do we got here? We got issues with the
he was with Freiburg U19.
Yeah, he
started
then he
came up into the team and then went out on loan.
Yep.
So that puts him in around 3 years of his kind of senior contract once he joined the team.
Hold on, just a second. So chat real quick. We are good, right? So I see John said he's got some issue with his connection, maybe, and Liz said the same. But then Chris said nothing was wrong with his. So I don't know. Are we good? Everything good? The show for me, everything's showing good. Give us a thumbs up or something in the chat and let us know if we're good. Okay, Chris says we're good. All right, so we'll keep going. Sorry, Patty. I just wanted to make sure we were.
Yeah. So what I was saying there is, if you were to assume his contract kind of got renewed when he became a member of the main team, he has now had about 3 seasons since then. So he should be nearing the end of that term, of loan.
Okay. He's one. I've actually been tracking him for a while. He's a good player. I watched quite a bit of the Bundesliga too, and he's really good. He's fun to watch.
So you asked me to check his age. February 25th, 21.
So we're good. He would be for that. I thought so. I thought there was one of them. I was mixing them up. He's that would be a player that we'd have that wouldn't have to be in the he wouldn't take up a squad spot next season. So that's good.
They have him down as currently left back, but also left mid, center mid, and attacking mid. Which is kind of interesting. Just from the point of view of his attacking nature.
So it was Josh. I guess Josh is saying it looks bad too. That's weird. So it seems like half the people watching are having no problems at all, and then half the people are it's buffering and not wanting to load.
Yeah, I had one jump earlier, with the Wi-Fi, but since then it seems fine for me and you.
That's weird. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. Oh,
Yeah.
Lexi said she had no issues and then had issues after. Of course, that's the way it goes. That's cool. I don't know. I'm not sure. All my internet's showing good, so I don't know. Hab said he refreshed the page, and that's how you got it working again. Okay. All right. Well, sorry, guys. We'll try to push through. I don't know what else we can really do, but I'm not showing anything. I think my internet's good, so I think we're not sure. Chrissy had a little static, nothing else. Okay. All right. Mertland says no issues here. Okay. All right. Well, we'll keep going. You just let us know if it starts to get bad again, or if we start having issues. So holler at us in the chat, please, and thank you. Patrick says he's not had any issues. Figures. It's one of those weird. I don't know. The internet's weird, man. Anyway, so what were you were in the middle of something? Sorry, Patty.
Yeah. So he's free for a year.
Mm-hmm.
He is down as a left back, so that would say his defensive capabilities should be fairly high. And then he also is quoted as left mid, center mid, and attacking mid, which should show attacking ability on that side as well. So it's an interesting one, this guy, to be honest. I kind of like the look of him.
Yeah. Now mine, to be honest, I just had a glitch. That's weird. You just glitched on me. I was listening to you and it like froze up. So now I'm having issues. I don't know what the crap's going on, guys. That's weird. Huh. Tom Evans says it keeps doing the wheel and stopping. I don't know what's going on. I have no idea. I don't think it's mine. We'll try to get through it. Let's see. Go ahead, keep going. I look like a character from Minecraft. It happens, I'm kind of ugly anyway. No big deal. Go ahead, Patty. I'm going to check my internet.
Okay, FC Nuremberg came in 8th in the Bundesliga 2.
Mm-hmm.
So he was playing Bundesliga 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, does he want a home? He's been on loan. He's been out and about. Championship could be a solid place to start. He's still nice and young. If he can keep up these numbers and turn it on in the championship, this is the kind of age range he has, about 3 years to convince the Prem that he's capable of doing it. So this is someone who maybe has an upper ceiling of huge proportion. Maybe not, but
yeah. Yeah, and it may be one of those. I mean, we don't know what the contract situation. It could be one of those that they that they may send out on loan again. If they aren't going to use him, I don't know. I mean, is it somebody you take on a loan to buy deal? You know what I mean? The loan with the option to buy.
Yeah, you would need at least 2 years left on his contract to do that, though.
Yeah, and we don't know.
And we don't know where it is.
We don't know where his contract is. That's the thing. So it's. I'm assuming there's probably 1 or 2 left. You can't imagine much more than that.
Yeah.
But no, I don't use Y Scout. I just dig. I just dig through stats and do all that. I want to look into Y Scout. I just don't. I think it might be a little too expensive for me. Okay. So there's Yilmaz. We've talked about him. He's really good. He's one of my favorites. He's probably my favorite. I mean, I don't know that he's the best, but just as a package and what he could be, overall, I really like him. And plus, I've kind of got a thing for him because I've tracked him for a while. This is one of those players I've been looking at for a long time. But so let's move on to our next one. Harrison Burroughs. All right, so this is an interesting one.
Another Sheffield.
Yes, Sheffield United. 2 seasons ago, arguably the best left back in the division. I think that's not unreasonable. He for some reason kind of, and I think it's because I don't think they play. I think he actually suits better as a wingback. I don't think he does as well as a fullback. I think it kind of uh, you lose a lot because he's so good going forward. Um, he's got really good pace. His crosses are beautiful. But he's I don't I think physically he's a little small. So I think that hurts him defensively a little bit. You know what I mean? I think you know what I mean? I think um yeah, I mean because he's only 5'8", he's not a big guy. He's not a big guy. Um and even just frame wise, he's not, physically that big. So shorter guy, a little smaller, but I think as a wing back, I don't think that's as, you know what I mean? Because you're not asking him to
Yeah.
defend a ton. He still has that left center back behind him for help. You know what I mean, defensively. And it's not that he won't defend.
Yeah.
Defensive contributions per 90 or 6.0 or 6.08. Successful crosses 1.28. Goals 5, assists 4. Can take a free kick and score it. He's um, really good on set pieces. I think he's fantastic. For some reason, they didn't seem to favor him this season. I mean, he started 30 games for him and played in 44, but they there's definitely, especially towards the end of the season, I think they started getting away from him, and I don't know why. And even listening to like their fans, Sheffield United fans, kind of feel like he's going to leave this summer, and I think they're okay with it, which is weird. I think. The I I think it's a steal. I think he had a shocker early season. Wilder lost confidence. I see. I don't. Maybe I obviously wasn't watching him, but I mean, if you look at his output, I think it's there. I don't think it's bad. I don't know that it. I mean, maybe he had a couple real bad defensive mistakes or something, John. I mean, maybe you can explain that a little. That comment here, I'll pull it up so everybody can see what I'm talking about. He had a shocker early season. Wilder lost confidence in him. I'm sorry. I don't. I find that hard to believe. Like, I don't know how you lose confidence in a kid that was that good and he's only 24. I mean, maybe. I mean, like, what's he done that was so bad? I guess that's that. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you not getting out of him? And are you playing to his strengths? I mean, if you're playing him as a fullback, and maybe that's not necessarily a strength. Because I know when he played at Peterborough, I think they played him quite a bit as a wingback and even a winger. So he's good. He's a good player. He's a good passer. The market value on him is at 8.62. I think you can probably we'll be able to get him cheaper than that because I think I mean, I agree with John that Wilder lost confidence in him. I just don't understand why. That's my thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I totally agree with that. He's definitely wasn't playing him as much, wasn't starting him as much, but I don't know. It was so weird. I just was really, really, yeah, I know West Ham's been rumored with everybody though, so it's hard to, I don't, I, I'm not, it's kind of one of those things like last season where we were linked with everybody, so it was, who knows what's true and what's not, but I'm not gonna, obviously for this, I'm not worried about what other teams are rumored to be in for who, but I mean, but that should tell you something though. If West Ham are interested in him, they're gonna have some, they're gonna be one of the teams that will be able to spend more than most, And if they could have the pick of the litter and they're looking at him, I think that says something, you know. Um, but I do think Sheffield United are going to have to sell before they can do anything this summer. So I think there's a deal to be made. And you know, we'll see. But that's another one that I think I wanted him. And of course, I was a little naive. I was a little bit naive. Man, my dogs are going crazy for some reason. I was a little naive, and I was hoping we could get him in when we were heading into League One. But that was the year he went up, you know. And of course,
Yeah.
he had a really good season in League One, and then got to move to the Championship. And of course, that season had a fantastic season. I think he was their young. I think he was the Young Player of the Year in the division that season too. John might be able to 8 million. So John's saying 8 mil. Yeah, I mean, I think we get him a little cheaper. Maybe not, you know, but I think either way, there's a deal to be made there. But he's a great player. I think I'd go all out for him. I think I'd spend 8 mil. You know what I mean? I would. I think he's that good, and
Yeah.
I think a wingback. Playing a wingback suits him down to the T, man. I think he's a perfect wingback.
Yeah, this really comes down to Parky's idea of him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I agree with the wing back idea. If he's good enough, if that's preferred position, yeah, go for it. I do think he's a bit small for playing in the back. At least certainly in the way we do it. So I wouldn't put him on the left or covering the left for us. But who knows? We may at some point want to use a 4 this season.
Right.
We'll see what happens.
I'm not holding my breath.
I know, yeah. But this is one thing. I don't really want Parky to be taking in too many kind of utility players to swap people around. That's where we've had problems with some of our players because we bring in so many players and move their position, you know, and kind of push them slightly different because of the way we line up. Not that many teams do it anymore. So that's the problem. You bring people in that you hope fit, but sometimes you can't guarantee it. So yeah, I like Harrison Burrows. I do like him. Is he worth the 8 million? I don't know. Not absolutely convinced. He's a good player, but if he's a Parky player, then yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think he'd be he'd be nailed on. I think he comes in and he's the starter. I think Kakachi finds himself as a backup if we brought Harrison Burrows in. So,
well, I would hope so. I don't want to be spending 8 million on someone that doesn't immediately take the position. So, yeah,
fair enough. Lexi, she's in your ass. Let's go. Where's the poll? We need a poll, Patty. Like yesterday.
Oh. Had it ready.
There we go. It'll be interesting to see how this one goes. This can be interesting. And you see what I'm saying though? Like the values on these left-sided guys, I was able to find guys that were kind of in that in between.
Yeah.
In between 5 and 10, you know, where they probably would come in. I just couldn't. I struggled to find that on the right side. I mean, there's a couple that are probably you know in that mold, but
Yeah, but the one thing I will say there is notice that even who you're getting at 8 million is not an absolute lock in that position. They've got some experience in it, yes, but they've not been playing that position as recently and stuff like this. So it's still not a perfect player who has locked down that role. And it's the difficulty because not that many teams are playing with them. So you can't necessarily get that.
Yeah.
So out in Europe, they seem to play them a bit more. You know, you see people directly in the position. So it's an interesting one. Now you've gone with a bit of a mix here. So yeah, I don't know who in particular I would want here. I like I kind of like the idea of Yilmaz with the free year.
I do too. I'm a little
And
disappointed in the chat right now because nobody's voted for him.
yeah, and that's then kind of trusting. Do you know what? I'm gonna do it. No, am I? Let's see how fast I can do this. I would like to have him with the outside the 25, and I would still like to rely on Kikache to actually step it up this season, so they could have a proper fight.
I agree. Yeah. I think for that, if we're looking at it as Kikache is our number one and we're happy with that, I think Yilmaz is the perfect guy to come in behind him. And you know what I mean, and be that backup to him. I think Berkey Milliot and Yilmaz fits that perfect. Whereas right now, Dennis Serkin's leading the poll. He's going to come in and he's going to want to be the number one. He's going to want to start, And and same with Burrows, and Onal probably is in that same type of where I think he's probably gonna, if he's gonna make a move, he's probably gonna look to be the starter because he's starting right now in the Eredivisie. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But Yilmaz, I think, is the one that I think you could, especially he doesn't necessarily take a spot up on the team, so he could come in and be your number two on the left side. And the nice thing about on our left, we still have a really good one that can play over there if we need
third
to.
option.
We have a third option, so we've got a little. So
let's say if you brought in,
let's say if you brought in Yilmaz, okay, as the number two, and God forbid Kikache gets hurt again, and maybe Yilmaz is just struggling a little bit, maybe with the physicality or what, you've got a player that we know can step in and can play, and you don't have to be too worried about
scared of one of them going down and the other not stepping up. Yeah.
So that's from that. So we'll be in there. It looks like Dennis Serkin's running away with it, which isn't. Not surprising.
I agree. Serkin is the obvious one here.
I think so.
He's the obvious nailed on. If you want someone,
experience Burrows, and the whole bit.
Yeah, Burrows is an interesting one. Solid, probably takes the role, makes it his, decent shot. I'm just wondering about the price on him there. Like, would you prefer a chance on one of the other guys for 4 million versus maybe paying near 8 million for him?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, but you gotta think of the competition. There's like 10 teams linked to Serkin. Everybody wants him.
Of course.
Because of the price. He's free.
Mm-hmm.
But so do you pay a little more, and get the guy that honestly probably is more suited at a wingback spot? You know what I mean? Whereas Serkin, I think, is definitely more defensive minded. I think he can play an attacking role. Don't get me wrong, but I think of the two, he's definitely more defensive minded. So I think Burrows fits the role better, probably. So yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting one. I really like Harrison Burrows, but I'll be honest. This would be, for me, it's hard for me to pick one out of this group because I could make an argument for all three of them or all four of them, and I wouldn't be upset if we got any of them. You know what I mean? I'd be perfectly happy. So I totally get it. It's interesting. But yeah, if you're looking just based on like championship, playing in the having that experience in the championship, I think Serkin or Burrows, obviously, but I know he's expensive, but man, I just think Burrows would nail down that position. And here's the thing: you bring him in, and then he's there he could be our wing back for 5 seasons. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even up into the brim, there's if we stuck with that formation, he could. I think he could get to that level.
At least he would be a reasonable backup to have on a bench squad. If you went up, he's not someone you get rid of.
Right.
For me, though, the one thing, look, I think it's about time we make a couple of young talents, get them into the team, and hope they work out. And the one thing I do like about the Yilmaz is bring him in. He's extra for a season. We will probably know by Christmas if he's any good. January, either, well, ship him out, put him on loan, get rid if you need to, or he's still free. You can have him sitting around just in case. Bring someone else in January.
Yeah.
Take that shot now for the 4 million, have the extra space. We know Thomason is your backup worst case to get us to January, and then you go into the market again.
Yeah. Czar Neymar, there's a hot take. He says, none of these guys will make it in the Premier. I disagree. I don't know.
Okay, but now, see, here's where I ask you, what is your definition of making it in the Premier? Because we didn't say any of these were going to make it in the Premier League. We said they could probably sit a bench for us before immediately kicking them out, because we don't have a Prem bench squad anyway.
Yeah.
So the idea of Burrows or Sirkin, sitting a bench in the Prem as an extra, okay, not the end of the world.
Oh, shoot. Okay. Yeah, probably not, but I don't think there's anybody on our team, and we're not going to get anybody in our team that's going to start in the Prem, likely. Think about how many players that played in the championship last season that will be starting in the Premier League next season. 1, 2, couple, a handful. There might be a handful with Hull going up. I don't know what they're going to spend. Are they going to bring in a whole new team? There might be 3 or 4 that they played both seasons. I think I'll give them credit. I think Leeds did the best job of that. I think this season, when they went up, I think they had 5 or 6 that were regular starters in the championship, and then have been regular starters this season. But generally, I mean, you're swapping that whole team over when you go up. You're not getting much.
Yeah, and if you're to be honest about it, looking at how potentially tough the championship is this season as well, we're not realistically going to go up this coming season. It's possible. Look, I'm not saying
you never know.
We're not going to, but I suppose our target, everybody is saying, is playoffs. Now, getting to the playoffs is not the same as winning the playoffs and getting promoted first off. So it's going to be tough either way. So if you're talking 2 seasons to get promoted, having a player who comes in now just turning 21 on a free year, gets 2 seasons with us to improve, they could be almost Prem ready by then. Maybe. And even if they're still getting better and can just sit the bench, and be an option, injury cover, all of that, because first year in the Prem, you're not going to have deep cover.
Yeah. Nope. For sure.
And we also need to have some players. If we get to the Prem, we also need to have some players we can send out on loan that people want. They're young enough, they're quick, they're athletic. Like, bringing in some of these players, they stay with us for 2-3 seasons, then they're almost too old sometimes. We need to bring those numbers down. We need to start trying these things. I know the idea is every season do the big push for the Prem, but you're going to be always circling these players out then. If you don't look 3 or 4 seasons down the road, bringing in some really young players, the 2020, the 2021, 22s, then you're never going to have someone stay with us for 5-6 seasons.
And
that's sort of age range.
Yeah, that's where like Onal or Yilmaz, being younger guys, you could get them in and could be that, maybe they develop into those guys that can make it up, get up a division. So I get it. You bring guys in because we don't know, and that's the other thing too. We don't know how long we're going to be in the championship. To your point, we like to think we get up there, we get promoted in a couple of years, but there's no guarantee. We might be 5-6 years down the road and we're still in the championship. It's not there's no guarantee you get promoted because there's always big teams coming down. That's the big difference.
Yeah, this is the problem. Is you need to think that it is possible, not necessarily totally likely, let's say, but just with your own income and having no parachute payments, you might very well be a third, fourth place team for multiple seasons. The question is then you should, if you can do that consistently, if you can kind of be in around it, third and fourth, you should then be able to win the playoffs. You should be able to win your way up through the playoffs at some point. But if you're floating up and down, depending on the season, depending on how well all the parachute teams do, if they come down, dominate everybody, then you could be 4 or 5 seasons. We'll eventually get there. We'll have the money. We'll get to a point that we start rotating players out from our championship squad, and then we'll be on a plateau. We'll be at a high level, just waiting for the season that we pull it off. But it could be 4 or 5 years. It's possible.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's talk about a position that I think is probably our of least concern for us, in my opinion. And I'll be interested in your opinion on that, whether you agree.
So quick one then.
So, yeah. Well, and I'll be honest, I tell you what I did, because I don't see the need to spend a bunch of money.
Mm-hmm.
And so for the most part, John's already into hashtag Save Max. For the most part, I don't see the need to spend money. I think free agents are the way to go. Now, that being said, the free agents that I've picked are probably guys that are going to want to come in and play. They're not going to be, they're going to want to play. Except one of them, maybe not, and we'll get to that. I basically went free agent. One of them's not a free agent, but the others are. So we can get it. Well, before that, I'll let you have your say. I think there's a chance we bring one in. I could see us replay. Maybe you get Scar out. Maybe you send him down to League One so he can play, and we get another one in. So that's kind of the way I was looking at it. I honestly, I've heard a lot. I'm gonna run this by you, see what you think. I've heard a lot of people talking about Lewis Brunt, and I feel like I need to stand up for Lewis Brunt, because a lot of people are talking a lot of shit about Lewis Brunt, and they like to talk about how good Doyle's been. But I just want to remind people that there was a player that was keeping Doyle out of the squad until he got injured, and his name was Lewis Brunt. He was our best performing center back until he got injured, and that was stats wise. I looked for it today and I could not find it. Somebody posted stats on it was you had you get the 4. I can't remember what you call them, but you get the 4 quadrants, and so you get and so you each one represents something, and you see where you end up. Our best performing center back was Lewis Brunt, and that came out right after he got hurt. So we just lost him, and that's when Doyle would come in. And remember, Doyle kind of struggled a little bit when he first started too. Got the red card, and
you're not talking about heavy Doyle, are you?
Huh?
This wouldn't be heavy Doyle, would
it? Yeah, heavy Doyle. But no, he was he was keeping Doyle out of the keeping him out of the team. So
because he couldn't run.
I don't care. He's still not little. That's his fault.
It was his fault. Absolutely, it was his fault. That's fine.
Yeah, but Lewis Brunt was playing well. I just want to remind people. Okay. He was. Okay. He get out of here.
Right now. That's fine. Now I'm gonna play a little devil's advocate here.
Andy's young. Younger.
Andy's young. He may have simply gotten very unfortunate with the time that he got injured.
Yeah.
and sometimes they're not career enders, but it can get you dumped out of a team for
Mm-hmm.
no real reason.
Mm-hmm.
Another one, just as an example, is Andy Cannon.
Yeah.
Everybody was
Yeah.
saying, "Oh, we love Cannon. We wish he got a chance." His injury came at the worst point,
Yeah.
and he didn't get his option. He didn't get his chance to be with the team, to have his summer camp, to be in and around it early, and to maybe get kept. So that's fine. Now, the one thing I will say is Brunt is not on the firing block here. You've mentioned it already. Scar is the low man on the totem pole here, out of our defensive grouping.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's naturally time for Scar to be moved
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
So Brunt may end up riding the bench for the majority of the season, waiting for an opportunity. But is he a locked on guaranteed second? I don't know. Because he's been out, because he's been injured. Did he play enough? He looked good at the time, yes. But we've the extra man is for Scar. So I'm not that worried. That kind of gives us a 7-7 for a back three.
Yeah. I gotta fight back. He absolutely did not keep himself out. He only got back in because Brunt got hurt. If Brunt didn't get hurt, Doyle would have stayed off the pitch. So I
It,
think I completely disagree. I think Brunt was playing well enough. Doyle wasn't getting back. And none of us at the time, nobody
we're
was
calling
calling for
for him.
Doyle to come back
Yeah,
in either.
yeah.
He hadn't played well. I don't think he was getting in that team at least until Brunt screwed up, and Brunt wasn't. He hadn't, and I don't think he was going to. I think it would have taken. It was going to take something like an injury to get Doyle back in, because he was, Brunt was playing well. He's playing his hind end off. I thought he was fantastic. So, uh, it's hard to look at his stats now because he played so few games. Comparatively, it's you go to the per 90 stats and you can kind of. I mean, they look decent. They do look decent in the per 90s. But if you get past that, if you go just like the rate of it all looks bad because he didn't play. You know what I mean? The stats just don't add up because he didn't play enough. But but yeah. So anyway, moving on from that. I just wanted to say that because I've seen like a lot of people talk about Brunt like he's gonna go, he can go. I'm like, I'm not, so like I don't think we need to send Brunt anywhere. I think he's perfectly fine as a backup and can play, Um so
Okay, so on the right hand side,
mhm.
we're gonna have Viner.
Yeah.
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 He's likely gonna take over from Blewett start of next season. That's
Mhm.
the logical inference, we think.
Mhm.
And between the two of them, that's pretty solid. We're happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Centre then we have Heim. We're not gonna have Scar. So new position there. Is this what you're thinking?
I'm I'll
Or are
be
you
honest,
putting it on the left?
I'm not. I'm not. I wasn't looking at. I was just looking at it as just another
A
good
group.
player to add that could
Yeah.
kind of play in the middle, could play on the right. Some of them, I think a couple of them can play on the left. It's not. I'm not a. Um. For me because it's such a non. I don't think we need the depth. You know what I mean? I
Mm-hmm.
think if I was looking for anywhere, I think it'd be in the middle.
Yeah.
Uh. So, but I think Hyam's probably that guy. But I will say, and I've not had a chance to say this, I think if you look at the last few games there of the season, Hyam played really well on the right. And I think we all are kind of assuming that's Viner's spot to take.
Mm-hmm.
But I think even with, when Hyam slid over and played on the right, and we had what's his name in
Scar.
the middle, Scar in
Scar
the
in the middle.
middle. I thought we looked more solid defensively, and I think a lot of that was because
Yeah.
Hyam was playing so well on the right.
Yeah, that's
So
also
I
an
think you
option.
could,
Viner in the middle, Hyam out on the right is
well,
fine too.
or the new
Um,
guy. You bring
or a
in the
new
new
guy, yeah.
guy, plays
Yeah.
the middle, and then maybe it's Hyam and Viner. But where's that leave Max? That's so there's definitely some ways you could twist it. But I think right now, for me, and Josh has said this, and I agree with him. I think right now, if I'm looking at our back three with what we've got, I think it's Hyam in the middle, Doyle on the left, and Viner on the right. For me, I think
Yeah.
that's our best. That's I think that's our
Yeah,
best bet.
and you could flip the Viner Hyam. That's fine. It
Yeah,
doesn't
you can
change
flip that right.
anything.
Yeah, right.
Now, I don't like Hyam on the left when he was covering
No, no, no. I
out
didn't
there.
either.
That didn't work.
I'd rather have
Um,
go. I'd see that's where I'd rather have Brun on the left.
yes.
If
So
it was between him and Hyam, I'd rather have Brun on the left.
yeah, but if you have Viner and Hyam comfortably swapping, because
Yeah.
we're saying either would probably be fine, then what you're probably looking for is someone who can cover the center and left wall
Yeah. Yeah.
more so that you have that extra cover on the left.
Yeah.
Now, get someone good enough who could potentially steal a center spot as well or be as good as Hyam, and now you've got trouble. Now you've got the depth you want, but
Yeah.
now Brunt is in trouble because
Yeah.
he'll be low man on that totem pole then.
Okay. So let's dig into these guys. Let's see. Get to here. Number one, Dale Fry. Free. He's on a free. Looks to be leaving Middlesbrough. I think there are negotiations with him, but I I don't think they've announced that he's definitely leaving yet. But somebody tell me if I'm wrong. But I think they might be still trying to get something worked out with him. But I think Dale Fry absolutely could come in and he starts for us, probably in the middle. I think he could absolutely come in and start for us. On a free, everybody wants him. He's a great player. I mean, he's fantastic. So I'd love to have him. I think, if you're looking at it as just purely you're upgrading Scar, you're just making
Yeah,
your team better. I think it's
yeah,
absolutely an upgrade. So I think yeah, I think everybody's in for him. Yeah, they're desperate for him to stay, but West Ham are on the table. Yeah, which I think there's several teams that are wanting him. It'd be a great signing. But absolutely, I think if he comes in, he's coming in to start. Uh, so that would be something to think about. But we'll see. We'll see where he ends up. Um, Duels won 69.7%. This is percentage per 90. I went with the per 90 stats. So aerials won 68.7. Defensive contributions 11.4 and clearances 7.98. He's 6 foot, so he's not a giant, but he's a good player. He can play on the right if we needed him to. He play. Honestly, I think he can play on the left. I think he's played on the left of a 2. I don't know that he's played on the left of a 3 necessarily.
okay,
So
yeah,
it's a little different. You know what I mean? I don't know that he would be that, but he's definitely a really good defender at this level. Um, so that'll be an interesting one. But that's kind of again, yeah, yeah, captain. He was a captain, obviously. He was
yeah. We like
captain
collecting
armband.
captains.
He's got the armband right there. Um, he's not, he's not a 6'4" giant, but he's very good. And he's very good in the air. He's just an overall really good player. So I'd love to have him, to be
Yeah.
honest. But a lot of teams are several teams I think would love to have him. I don't know how many are actually in for him, but we'll see how it goes. And Middlesbrough definitely are trying to keep him. So we'll see how it goes. You got anything on it? You got anything to add there, Patty?
No, let's keep going.
Okay. Again, free agent, so cheap. Well, you're gonna make up for that on the wages, but yeah. So moving on, Chris Mepham. Now this is an interesting one because the fans at Borough didn't like him, or not Borough, West Brom. I saw a lot of them did not like him. But when I dug into his stats, stats wise, he actually performed the best of their center back, the guys that they played at center back. So I wonder if it was just because they were playing so poorly, and I think it reflected bad on, you know what I mean? I think, where the team's just playing bad, and I don't think he's that bad. I watched him play for Wales. I thought he was really good in those games. I like Chris Mepham. I actually wanted us to get him last summer. I was hoping we can grab him last summer.
I remember you mentioned that.
And of another player, he's played in the 3. He can play in the 3. He can play in the middle. I think he's played in all 3 spots in the back 3. So, can do it all. I think he mainly played in the 2 for West Brom this season. Aerial duels 67%, 63.4 on the duels. Defensive contributions 10.5 per game. Clearance is 7.58. I don't know if you listen to the West Brom fans. I think they want to see him gone. And he did. They pulled him. They pulled him out of the defense at the end of the season. I don't know. I was kind of surprised. Obviously, I'm not watching West Brom every week in and week out, so I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he was just terrible, but I'm not. I wasn't convinced. Let's see what we got here. I'd take Chris Mepham. I agree. I would too. Mepham's one of those defenders who needs a steady old head next to him. When it's on him to be the guy, his head goes. Which, to be fair, I think we've got that. I think you've got a Dom Hyam and a Viner. I think. So I think he wouldn't have to be the guy, necessarily. So I don't know. He's an interesting one. He's not on a free agent. He's the only one of the 4 that I picked that aren't free agents. But I think we could get him and not spend a ton of money. I don't think it costs us.
Yeah, his age is keeping the transfer down on this one.
Yeah.
For me, it really depends on is he comfortable being in a group of starters rather than a guaranteed starter in this scenario. He seems quite good. I would be happy with him, to be honest, especially as part of the 6. He seems like he's the type of age range profile, but would he be comfortable not starting? Now if he ended last season not starting.
Yeah, he wasn't starting. Yeah,
in a weak team, then maybe he's happy enough coming into a group of decent defense.
And here's the thing: not that we want it, but he'll get an opportunity. We're not.
Oh yeah.
There's going to be injuries. There's going to be things that happen. Like he would, it's not like he's going to come in and never get a chance. So he would get an opportunity. So all 6 of our guys played, a good chunk of games this season. So, as part of that, as part of the 6, I think he is an upgrade on Dan Scar, and Dan Scar played great this season, but I think it does just improve the overall squad. And I think for me, I think that's what we're looking to do. If we do anything in the back, in the back 3, I think that's what we're probably gonna do.
Yeah, I
just trying to improve it.
We're not looking for a natural starter to replace someone. We actually are comfortable.
We don't have to
with the starters we have. Yeah,
right. Yeah.
So another similar level in amongst it would be quite good.
Yeah. So, Chris Mepham, I think he's a good one for me. I like him quite a bit. So let's move on. Unless you got anything else, you good?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Adam Webster. So this is an interesting one. So he's been playing in the Prim. He's on a free. He's been linked with West Ham, Burnley, Thank you. Basically, all the bigger,
Mhm.
the ones that came down, I think he's been linked with all of them. He's 31. Uh, Here's the big issue. So these stats aren't from last season because he didn't play last season. He's been out. No, sorry, real quick, Chris, you did not miss midfielders. We're going to cover them possibly Sunday. We got to finalize what day we're going to do it. In possibility we um, uh, do Sunday. I just got to talk to the guys to figure out when we want to do it. So yeah, we're going to do the attacking mids and defensive mids on the next show. We got one more show. So anyway, on Adam Webster, Premier League level player, can do it. Uh, really good. I mean, he's definitely a player that would come in and play, or you could play for us. Now, he was injured last season and was out the entire season. Didn't play a single minute. Okay, out the entire season. Now, for me, hear me out. I think that's not a bad fit for us because, again, we don't necessarily need him to start,
Mhm.
but he could bring up the level of the team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He brings that level up. So if he comes in as a replacement for Scar, and initially he's a backup, maybe he gets himself in, maybe he's healthy and he's fine, and he gets himself in, and he brings that high level of play, in for us. But and he's good on the ball. He's a really good player, really good defender. If you watch him, he's got that he's Premier League standard. I mean, he was, obviously a little, he's not old, but he's 31. But I think as an improvement for that back line, I think it makes a lot of sense. And he's on a free. So, obviously, wages are going to be not cheap. He's not going to come in cheap. But injury questions. So, you don't know. But I think if you bring him in and you put him in a spot where we don't need him to play 46 matches for us. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah. It
yeah.
really comes down to what deal you can get done on the wages.
Yeah.
Because Hyam is 30, Scar is 31.
Right.
So similar age profile. And at the moment, I know Scar kind of
Yeah.
has
Here's
come
the
different
Here's the
levels.
difference. Here's the difference. Went for over 20 million in 2020. So high level player. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's
And
you know,
the thing is, if he's that good
yeah.
and if he's worth the money,
Mhm.
which they can figure out for themselves, the
Right.
only thing you would really want is some sort of a discount for when he's injured and
Mhm.
unavailable to play.
Yeah.
If he would agree, who knows what, 50% drop in his wage if he's injured, something along those lines, then you could get something like that over the line. I don't know if you'd be willing to risk such high level wages and have them kind of out for half a season or whatever. But deals have been done like that before, so that's all about the details of it. But yeah, this is the high level to get you over that line if he
Mhm.
can play and if he can keep up that standard. He'll definitely push the team.
Yeah, for sure. So that's the thing. If he's healthy, he'll be pushing for a
Mhm.
starting spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just what it is. So, and like I said, it's an interesting one, and I, I think it just makes a lot of sense. For me, it ticks a lot of boxes. Just brings up that level. That's my main thing, just bringing up the level of defense because, our defense wasn't perfect last season. So, you want to improve for sure. Um, so here's the last one. Just probably the best player of the three, in my opinion. Um, Gonna be a hard one to get. Probably wouldn't be able to get him. He might be just a little outside of it. Axel Tuanzebe. Um, he's been playing the Premier League for a while. He came in at Man United. Um, started there. He'd never played a ton of games. I think he played like 40 games for them over like 5 years or 4 or 5 years or something like that. But he's a really good player. He was at Burnley last season, played 14 matches for him. Did pretty well, really. Didn't do too bad. He's really good on the ball, really fast. Really athletic for a center back. You know what I mean? We watch him run and on the ball. I like him a lot. I think it'd be a great signing. I did see that Burnley they're in contract negotiation. I think it came out yesterday that Burnley have offered him a deal, or at least are in negotiations. So they're trying to keep him. So it may be a tough one to get, but I think.
How could we match that deal?
Huh?
How could we? Surely the thoughts are we couldn't match that deal if they're considering giving him.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
The only thing is if it's a situation where he knows he's not going to play and he wants to play.
Yeah. John doesn't like him. I should have done it. No, I wish I would have. I was gonna put a picture of him in the Aston Villa jersey. No. He's a good player though. Or I think he's the one. I think he was. Now I'm second guessing myself. Was he at Villa? Pretty sure he was. Anyway, yeah, I like Axel quite a bit. Really good player. Watch some of his stuff some of the tackles he makes are unbelievable. Could play right back too, but he's terrible at it. No, I can see him play right back. He's got good pace, good on the ball, good. If you played him on the right of a 3, he could give you what Doyle gives us on the left when we're going forward. He could give you that on the right,
Yeah.
He was at Ipswich. He played at Ipswich 2 seasons ago, and then was at Burnley last season. So yeah, he's a really good player. Good pace. I assume, I haven't looked. I assume he's playing for DR Congo in the. I assume he got called up. I'm not sure. I could be wrong there. In the World Cup, so I have to check that. I should have checked that. I didn't. But he's also on a free. So, really interesting one.
I like the fact we could give him a 3-year deal and he would still be the 31 that we have Scar and Hyam at the moment.
Yeah, the age, 28. That's, for a player that's been playing in the Prem, I think again, that's another one that just brings that level up that much more. And he's one, I think you get him signed, I think he definitely starts. You know what I mean? He's not.
Yeah.
If you could get him, he's not coming to sit. You know what I mean? He's coming to play. Andrew C says Mepham seems like the best for Tim. I probably agree with that. Because I think he probably is the one that you wouldn't necessarily have to start. Wouldn't feel like he's coming in to be the start. Be the guy. Or the others may want to. Adam Webster, I'm not sure whether he'd demand that necessarily or not, but I think of the 4, I think Axel is the best one. But he is a little, you take a lot of money, as far as wages, and he is going to want to play, So, I don't know. But saw him, he was free, and I thought, you know what, we'll see. See how it goes. Czar Namor says 4, but won't happen. Fair enough. I get it. Let's see what everybody thinks about this one. It's interesting. Yeah, basically, I was just looking at it. We don't have to do anything back there. Like we could keep Scar and let him see out his contract with us, and you know what I'm saying. Like I don't think we have to do anything in the back, which is interesting. It's funny. And John, I think it was John. on one of Josh's shows the other day. Said, as many goals as we gave up last season, you might want to might want to improve that back line. But I think if we're fair, I think it's we didn't get to see Viner play in the back line last season because he came in and because of the injuries, he played in the midfield.
Yeah.
So I don't think we ever saw our best back line. And I don't think we need to do a lot. And it's also one where we could go get a young guy. If we could find a young guy that maybe played in League One last season that we think could possibly make the step up, something like that, or somebody that's in a Prim Academy, or you know what I mean, that's getting released, something like that. I think John says he thinks we need 2 of the 4. I don't think we need 2. I definitely don't. I think we're okay. I think
once we upgrade our wings, it's going to make a big difference.
I think so too. I agree. I think if we get some better wing backs and
the defensive mid,
the midfield, you get a guy that covers that line a little better. Because I tell you, we were playing well when everything was clicking, even defensively when we were playing well and we had the midfield was working and we looked good for a while. So we weren't far off it. So I think with what we've got, I think that back line's it's probably good enough. I could be wrong. Man, they could prove me wrong, but I think we can do it. I've like to look up high from Stockport.
The idea of get someone in on a free agent you can afford to give the transfer fee to them kind of in wages, right? We always kind of say that, but we never really look at the numbers of it. So let's just assume for a moment we can get someone else for 5 million. That's what we've been talking about for everybody. It's okay, 5 million. So divide that down into a 3-year contract. You get a little over 2 million, well, a little under 2 million each year. 2 million is worth about 40 grand a week in wages. So if you're willing to give it to them, that's assuming the club is, that's 40 grand a week, plus you throw another 25 on top for his normal wages, 65 grand a week in wages, maybe. You're getting someone of that standard, So that's where the numbers kind of roll out to. And if players are getting it, it sounds like they are, but probably not to the entire level of the transfer fee or what have you. But it shows you where the value could be. And if players are able to get that, I'm very surprised more players are not simply signing 3-year deals and saying, I do not care how well the club is doing, I am not re-signing. I'm going for a big payday somewhere else. Like it's crazy if they're getting a hefty chunk of transfer fee straight into their wage.
I can see like I wouldn't be surprised if Axel got picked up by one of the teams that just got promoted. You know what I mean? I can see, especially like Hull. I think Hull. I'd be surprised if Hull don't make a play for him, because they could absolutely do it, and he definitely improve that team. So I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what happens. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'm kind of torn. I'm kind of with the chat here. It looks like Chris Mepham's winning. I think he probably makes the most sense. Probably Adam Webster would be my second. Dale Fry, I'd love to have. I just think he's not going to come sit. You know what I mean? He's going to want to come play, and I just don't know if that necessarily fits. You know what I mean? Because I don't think we need to change too much back there, but I don't know. The same with Axel. I think he comes in and starts. I think he's good enough, though. I think Axel, I think it's worth bringing him in if you can get him, because I think he is that good that it's just another level. That's that much better. So I don't know. It's interesting, but like I said, I thought about digging in on it because I had a few like through the season who I'd looked at, but a lot of them like they were gonna cost like pushing 10 million.
Yeah.
Some of them, it's like, dude, we're not. Why would
We're not at that level
We
yet.
don't need that. We don't need
Yeah.
to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We don't need that. We got other stuff that we need to spend on. So I really wanted to wait and see what the free agent market had coming out. It was specifically coming out of the Prem.
Yeah, and see, the thing is, give it another 2 seasons, right? And in theory, what should naturally happen is you need less players. Basically, we even less than the 6. Like next year, we may need 4, and then you start rotating a few players off, and you might only again need 3 or 4, and you're spending 10 or 15 million on new players at that point. And that's how you're just constantly rotating the squad until you get promoted, and you end up with top level everywhere. So it's only which 1 or 2 players need to be moved for age, end of contracts, and then you're replacing them with another 10, 12 million player.
Cool.
But we're not there yet. Not yet.
No, not yet. Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. But yeah, I do like Chris Mepham. Though. I think Mepham, he probably makes the most sense of all of them.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, like I said earlier, guys, we'll try to do. I'll talk to Patty when we get off here, and we'll talk to Josh and see what he's got planned and all that, and we'll try to work something out for. What my plan is, I'd like to get the next show done this weekend.
Yeah.
If we can, just because Monday opens the window. So I wanted to beat the window, have all the shows in before the window opened. So we'll see how that goes. And see what everybody's got going on. But keep your eyes open, keep looking. Oh, USA score prediction before we go. 2-0. I think USA wins at 2-0. I think we batter them. And
yeah, better. What did the Canadian match finish?
1-1. 1-1, I believe. Unless they scored at the end. Nothing. I might have missed the last couple minutes. But I think it was 1-1. They were really coming out. Canada looked really poor early, and then were really coming on at the end. So, I'm trying to look it up real quick. I'm pretty sure it was 1-1 though. Yeah, finished 1-1. Yeah, Bosnia looked really good at the beginning, and got the goal, went ahead, and then the second half. I'll tell you what, it was the kid from it was Laren, the kid from he plays at Southampton, striker. He came in and he changed the game. Changed the game for him for sure. He looked good. I'll be watching Max Arfston in the USA match. He feels someone who's going to be coming to the champ. Hey, is he? I looked at Max and I don't know if he will or not. I wasn't sure. He was on my list though. Like Max was on the list. I think we may have talked about him in January. Did we talk about him in January? I can't remember. We definitely talked about one of the wingback, one of the backs, left back or right back from the U.S. U.S. national. In January, I can't remember. I have to double check. I have to go back and look. But yeah, the Kyle Laren from Southampton. He looked dangerous when he come on. And he scored the goal too. So, yeah, he was good on it. David, of course, Promise David looked really good. I thought anyway. All right. Well, let's see. What's wrong, John? Well, now I got to leave it up, John. Sorry about it. I should have put him in. I'm so mad at myself for not putting him in a Villa jersey. I almost did, and then I didn't. And then I didn't even put it. I couldn't find a good picture in a Burnley jersey, so I ended up going with Ipswich. I should have just put him in the Villa jersey anyway. But oh shoot! All right, guys. Well, let's see. What's real quick? Patrick Oden. Who do we realistically think may become available from the promoted teams that would be worth buying? I don't know. I've got one, and we'll talk about him on the our next show. He's I've got one for sure. That I hope, and I think he will. He said, "John said I missed my trick." I did. I missed my trick for sure. That's all right. That's all right. Well, I was trying to be nice. I thought you might come on and hang out with us, but apparently, his boss lady's a little more important than us. I get it. Whatever, John. Didn't want to come hang out and talk to us. Tried to be nice. McBurney, I don't know. Does McBurney? You think would he come? Will they sell him? What do you think? They get rid of McBurney? I think their fans would revolt.
I think they need him.
Not that I think he'll play much, but
yeah, but they need him. They don't have the depth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. For sure. I don't know. Well, I have to see. I'll be honest. I haven't dug through their teams too much. I'll be honest. There wasn't a lot at Hull.
No, there's no
that I necessarily want.
Yeah.
to be completely honest. I think McBurney, you can make the argument, would be maybe the one. Obviously,
but he's one of their main men.
He'd be surprising. I don't think he's good enough for the Prem.
No,
but I also
he's the best of what they got.
Yeah, I know. Don't know. It's interesting.
Hull is going to go out into the market and they're going to find the weird transfers that you've ever seen in your life, and either they're going to have a team that can play or they're going to fall apart and have some horrendous result. Now look, if they can pull it off, if they can bring together a random team of players and get them working, fair play to them.
See, Gelhart is saying Gelhart. I'm not convinced. I'm still not. I don't know. I've never really been big on Joe Gelhart. I think I might be like the only one, but I don't know. I don't love him. It might just be me. I don't know. I don't know. I can't really explain it. I can't give you a statistical reason or anything like that why I wouldn't want him. I don't know. He's never done it for me. It never made me feel like, oh yeah, I'd love to have him. Like I just never. No, not my thing. See, there you go. John agrees with me, so I'm wrong. John agrees, so I'm wrong for sure. But okay. Anyway, guys, here you go. Here's a hint. The player that I think we can get from those three teams plays for Coventry. There you go. That's the only hint I'm giving. But he will be on the list when we do our next show. Right now, guys, look for probably tentatively Sunday. That's what I got in my head. But I'm going to talk to Patty, and we'll see what Josh thinks and all that. So, got anything else, Patty? You good?
Nope. 2:30 in the morning. Got to go sleep, ladies and gents.
Sleep. Never heard of her. Never heard of her. All right. We'll see you guys. And on that bombshell, we
take care, everybody.
Out of here.